Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast, boys and girls. Not only are you here for a new episode, you're here for a new season. I hope you got your bags packed. I hope you're ready. You brought all your medicines, whatever the fuck you need, because we are on a road trip. Mark's going to drive some of the time. I'm going to drive some of the time, but you're going to drive never. You're going to be in the back seat. We're going to take you there the whole time. We're going to fight in this car. We're going to fart in this car. We're going to smoke in this car. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. We're going to be scared, anything. But we're going to do it together within the confinements of a vehicle. All right? Welcome to the season, the road trip. I hope you're ready. I'm ready. The weird part is, though, I don't know if our car is going to get us to our destination today. We need a rocket ship because we're going to space, all right? I don't know if I've mentioned I am your host and your scary movie companion, Mr. Christian Ramey. Welcome to the show. And sitting across from me, the co-pilot, maybe the pilot, you don't know. You don't know. He might have the main controls. He might be like one of those guys. You don't know. But it's Mr. Ozark Mark, and he's sitting across from us. He's alive. Mark, how you feeling? Are you ready for space?
Space. We're going to space. It's gonna be great. We're going to space. Fucking space. That's right. Jason X is the first spot here on the road trip. So, that's what we typed into the GPS. We put in space. And now we're here. GPS, I want to be a GPS, I want to be a GPS, I want to be a globalized position system. That's what we did.
That's what we are.
That's where we are.
We're in space. And even though the movie is called Jason X, most of the movies we're going to be covering this season are going to have like a location in the title. A number of reasons we covered this episode. A, for our boy Andrew. We thought it'd be fun. I'm sure you guys recognized him in the intro. I thought that'd be fun to include him in this because any of you guys that are on TikTok or, follow like the Horror Talk or him, this movie has kind of became his. And it's funny because some people are like, this is his favorite movie. And it's like, no, it's not his favorite movie. He's got really popular or, done some really funny videos where he's read movie posters and he reads like the tagline on it, but he'll do it like really corny. And this one is just Jason X Evil gets an upgrade. And sometimes they'll go on forever with it. But everyone that has heard that, it lives in our brain because he kind of did like a Rick Roll thing where he would like pop it up in some of his serious videos, and it's just one of those movies that kind of become somebody's, and you're like, you know what? When I think of that movie, I think of him. So he kind of had to be included. Now,
I really wish they would have called it Jason Goes to Space, though.
It would have been funny.
Because they could have made him like the new Ernest.
Goes to Manhattan, goes to space, goes to hell. Yeah, like, dude.
Fucking do that. But we decided on Jason X for some reason. Whatever.
JC and Spacey.
Jason X.
You don't like JC and Spacey?
Sounds like it.
JC and Spacey.
Well, I don't know why. This movie gets a lot of hate. Is it because people think it's far-fetched, like Jason shouldn't be in space? Because, honestly, speaking as a man who's not a horror nerd and has learned more about Jason than he has in his whole life through this podcast, it doesn't seem that far-fetched to me of a story. It makes sense.
Makes total
probably,
sense.
And it's not far-fetched because if you say this movie's far-fetched, you don't think Jason the character is a little bit far-fetched? He's a man that regenerates all the time.
Yeah, he's like a zombie, man.
Right. So that makes sense. It's perfectly logical. They contain him. They say scientists want to study him. That makes sense. They try to transport him. They get fucked up. He gets frozen. That's fucking logical, too. Everybody knows the government can freeze people. We all aware of that. Makes sense that the world would not be inhabitable in 400-something years, and it makes sense that Jason will come back to life in space and kill people in space. And that's what he did.
And it's a fun premise. You
It's
know, you're like, you
hilarious.
kind of want to see it through.
It's
But
so fucking funny.
I feel like it's watchable to somebody our age because we were kind of predisposed to these weird B, C pictures and TV shows that were space oriented. Now, we grew up with Star Wars and Star Trek, like the older ones. Those existed. But then, you know, you had like Next Gen Star Trek. But even if you didn't watch them a shitload, like you remember like on the WB or UPN or some shit, there'd always be some weird like Battlestar Galactica or like the Andromeda. That's where a lot of these people are from. So I think the show's called Andromeda or something. I don't know. I may be mispronouncing it. But I remember the show. And there were these... Only thing I can describe them as like late 90s, early 2000s space shows. Even like Galaxy Quest kind of falls into it. Anything like around that time that has to deal with space. Like they always had like the, you know, the bombshell blonde and like the fucking... That was always a character. Then they had like the robot girl. Mm-hmm. There's always a robot girl. Yep. Like there's just so many of these things that you almost want that. You're like, yeah, I need that in this picture. And they checked all the boxes. And a lot of these actors came from that TV show. I'm not sure on which ones, but there was a few of them to my knowledge. And it seems as if they have all done those kind of space shows before. So yes, is there a little bit of corniness to it? Yeah, but they're selling, like in a good way. Not as these kids say. These kids say selling in a different way, you know.
What?
Yeah.
That means something else?
Yeah, if they're like, you're selling, that means like you're fucking up.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Don't get me started on the damn kids lingo. It pisses me off.
Yep.
It fires me up like the Titanic. It's another thing that fires me up. Don't get me started.
Well, it's going to happen every 10 years. There's always going to be new lingo.
I know, but God, make it better.
Yeah.
Like 50s lingo was better than the lingo now.
Well, they're bringing a bit of that back. They say tough. They'll be like, that's tough, Dad. You'll be like, all right.
At least that makes sense.
Sharp outfit, kid. Look sharp. That's tough. Rolling up a pack of smokes in your sleeve.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you. Some of them are too much. But a lot of these characters seem like they fit and they worked in that. And I just think people of our age, we were just kind of the test bunnies for, you know, a lot of these different kind of TV shows growing up. And even if you didn't like them or not, like you watched a couple and this just fits in that box well. They just do it well. And like you say, if you're going to believe Jason like goes to Manhattan and does all this other crazy shit or fights a girl with telekinesis and everything else, we're not going to believe this. We're not going to believe he's in space. Space is real. Like, space isn't not real.
No, it's out there. I mean, look up. It's there.
People are up there. Yeah.
People are going to travel it eventually.
And it totally kind of rips off just Alien's premise. Like, it's just Jason instead of Alien.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care.
No, don't worry about the story too much. People aren't looking for the story in a Jason movie. Shut up. They're looking for Jason and they're looking for titties.
And it provides.
Yep, and you get both of them. You even get robot titties with no nipples.
That's all right. I was curious.
It still counts.
I was still curious.
Yeah.
I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a horrible quality we have, but yeah, we do want to see. We want to see what's happening. Now, I do want to get in and give like a brief synopsis of this movie, but I do find it necessary to fill some shoes first. Can we do that?
Uh-huh.
Fill the shoes, walk the path of the wicked. Unleash the fury, let the chaos reign.
Filling it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Fill it up in there.
Yeah, cream pie me, dog.
Yep, that's what's happening. Guys, you can't just simply watch an old horror movie and then just be like, hey, this is corny, this ain't right. You know why? Because you're not in the year it came out, and that's bullshit, because it has limitations. So,
Limitations it has.
let us be your liaisons and
Ooh.
take you, your liaisons,
Ooh.
and we will take
Panties
you.
are wet from that word.
We're going to take you all the way to April 26th, 2002. Bust out the Jinkos, okay? New metal kids, you got your little ball necklace, your little backwards red hat. you know.
Ball necklaces.
Yep.
Those are so horrible.
I know, I wore them too.
So did I.
I had braces and a backwards red hat with the ball necklace.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, it was rough.
Save some pussy for the rest of us, dude.
Oh, yeah. Which was weird that was a style, you know, like that was. Because, you know, you look back and you're like, I want to beat the shit out of me.
I know. That's why I don't look at old pictures of myself. Because if I go back in time, I'd kick my own ass.
I know. That's how I feel, especially during this time, man. Like, there's all kinds of shit. This is April 26, 2002.
Well, what happened?
Oh, I was fucking household furniture, you know, cutting holes in pillows. Just what, you know, it was like when you got a young dog, you know, you're just like, you gotta wean him off. The fuck did all the lotion go?
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Why are the two cushions slick on the inside?
What's going on with our son? You know, they knew. But there were some popular movies at this time that were coming out, which was, I wasn't anticipating that. Like, I'm saying April 26, 2002. I don't know about you, but there's certain years and certain time frames where I'm like, ooh, I think there's some bangers that year. There were some good movies. Just at this time frame, in theaters, number one movie at the time this came out was The Scorpion King.
The Scorpion King.
Didn't I have the I Stand Alone?
Oh,
Like
I
the
know it had
Godsmack song?
Didn't it have the rock in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Jason X moved up to number 2. You know, it did very well. People like
shit.
that. You remember that baseball movie with Dennis Quaid, The Rookie?
Yeah.
That was out. Panic Room. That was an interesting movie with Jodie Foster and that little girl from Twilight. Or she got bigger. I forget her name. But she's always
Like
doing that with her hair.
like wider or taller or older? What do you mean bigger?
Older.
Oh, okay.
She was like 13 in the Panic Room movie. I want to say something around there. She was like junior highest, and then like in Twilight, I think she was an adult. It was the girl that played Bella. The girl that was banging the vampire and the wolf
Oh.
at the
She
same
grew
time.
up to be a whore.
Yeah, well, banging the interspecies erotica.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what
getting with other animals.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
There's a market for it though.
Yeah. Well, you know what else came out, which was, I'm not gonna lie to you, this movie does make me laugh. Ice Age.
I like the first Ice Age.
It was funny, dude.
That little squirrel getting his acorn, fucking classic. What's his name? Scrap?
I forget his name, but that's
I
exactly
think
what
it
my
was
brain
Scrap.
went.
Yeah.
That was a funny movie.
It was a great movie.
Lord of the Rings franchise started. It was in the theaters at this point for probably about 2.5 months, but Fellowship of the Rings, that's what started that, dude. That was an intense time. Like, that was a huge movie.
Yeah.
A Beautiful Mind, that was a good one with old Russell Crowe. Great movie. Death to Smoochie, that had Robin Williams, Edward Norton. Queen of the Damned.
Queen of the Damned.
Walk to Remember. I don't like that movie, but a lot of girls, you know, flicked beans to that movie when it came out. And then Super Troopers. That was in theaters. All these movies were in theaters.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's intense stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to know what's happening, what people were listening to, what were you listening to around the time when Jason X came out? Well, Ashanti was crushing it. The number one song was Foolish. And then her and Fat Joseph, What Does Love Have to Do with It? Got to do with it. You remember that song?
Oh, yeah. I hate that song.
Yep. And then Usher, You Don't Have to Call. That was around the time that NSYNC did their song Girlfriend. Not a good song.
What?
Linkin Park, In the End.
Ugh, Linkin Park. That's
Yep.
like the most played fucking band on any rock station now.
Yep.
They're taking over regular and classic.
Not a fan. Not a fan. And then Nickelback, How You Remind Me. Which I think they get more hate than deserved. Like, I don't really like any of their songs.
Nickelback's not a bad band, though. I mean, they're not bad.
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
I like that Rockstar song. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
If Nickelback comes on in a bar, you ain't gonna be like, "What the fuck is this shit?" You ain't gonna care.
That
Rock
Rockstar,
on.
if that Rockstar came on, because we all just want to be. If that song comes on in a bar, everyone's singing
There
it.
are.
Everyone's
dude,
singing
That's where
it.
all the hot broads go. Is the Nickelback concerts.
Seriously.
They're swimming in chaunch, and that's probably why they get a lot of hate from dudes. Because there's just so much chaunch at a Nickelback concert.
Guess what, though?
Huh.
That year, Ben Affleck, he won the Sexiest Man of the Year.
Why?
I don't know. I always just think of him with that meme where he's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And that's like the realest, like, I'm like, he's a real dude. Like, that's a, like, I don't.
Because he had to deal with Jennifer Lopez, dude. And
He still is.
crazy. I mean, that's an ass.
That's a lot of maintenance.
Man, that pussy
Mark.
will change your life, I guess.
2002, who won the NBA championship?
Fucking, I don't know.
Just
LeBron James.
He didn't come to the league for another year.
I don't know.
2002, that was the Los Angeles Lakers. That was, the three-peat.
Was that Kobe and stuff?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, was that the first three-peat? Yeah. First three-peat with the Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Now, take a guess. Who won the MLB championship? The World Series. The Angels, baby. You got it. The Anaheim Angels. And I know you remember this Super Bowl 2002. This team eventually got a ring a few years later when a legendary quarterback went to their team.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's correct. You remember that? They played the Oakland Raiders, dude. Mm-hmm. That was I don't know why I remember that Super Bowl so well, but that was just an interesting Super Bowl. And that year for the Stanley Cup, your winner was the Detroit Red Wings. So, Jason X time, you feel caught up. You guys might remember one of these events that I just laid down. So around that time, whatever the hell you were doing, this is when Jason X came out. Now, I'm going to be real brief with the synopsis because it's going to be...
It should be very quick.
It is a slasher, and sometimes I don't even give you guys the dignity of giving you a synopsis in a slasher, but we have different environment. We are on a spaceship in space, and we have doctors, scientists, people who are examining frozen bodies. Two of these bodies, one of which is a scientist, the other of which is Jason Voorhees. They bring the body back of the scientist, who is a girl, and it's 450 years later. So, it's like 2455 or something is the year. Yeah. Something like 400 years later. And Doctor warns the people of Jason, but the main doctor, due to the controller of the ship, wants Jason because he's kind of a legend from the past and he can sell him, so he's just trying to keep him versus getting him off of the ship. Bad idea. Jason kills everybody. Ship blows up. He even blows up like a whole other ship, or blows up a whole other ship, right? And like that's a lot of people. Like we can't even give you like an official, like the director said it was something like 25,000 bodies or some shit, and it's like, dude, I can't even include all that. Like that's
They took out an entire space station.
Yeah, dude. So pretty intense. That's how it works. Obviously, we have Kane Hodder again as Jason, and he turns into what we used to say Uber Jason. Uber has turned into a car driving service. Do you remember like when Uber was a term that people used? Like,
yep.
And I still use it sometimes, and I feel like younger generations like, what the fuck does a taxi have to do with any of what we're talking about? You're like, no, stupid. Talking about Uber Jason. He showed up and he was space-like.
Yeah, that's the scariest Jason ever.
Dude, he's so cool looking, though. Like, I don't care, like, what people say. They can say, like, oh, that's not Jason, whatever. You're like, all right, it's a variation. But he's like a comic book space Jason. He's cool as shit looking.
Yeah, he's scary as fuck, too. He's nothing but armor.
I know.
That's scary.
And that mask?
That's fucking scary. That's not the Jason I would want to run into. I'll tell you that much.
They didn't shy away from some cool kills, some classic kills, some dull kills, some big ones. It's all over the map here. That was fun. Witnessed a lot of death. And, the Dr. Wimmer, however the fuck you say his name, the main doctor, the white-haired dude, at the beginning, and he dies.
Yeah.
That's David Cronenberg, legendary director, Scanners, Videodrome.
No way.
Yep.
Holy shit.
The Fly.
No way.
Have we covered The Fly?
No.
We need to.
The Fly.
Yeah, The Fly is such a good movie, dude. It's like before Jeff Goldblum became like a caricature of himself. Like he started acting like doing impressions of himself almost.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the Christopher Walken thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Goldblum and Gina Davis, girl from Beetlejuice. She died, but they crush it in that movie. So good, so good. But Cronenberg's in this, so it's a nice little tip of the cap, putting in some legendary people in there. We give stamps out for some movies. This one definitely gets the FUBU stamp. This was made by people who love horror. It got kind of serious, but then it's tongue-in-cheek at the same time. It's almost like a Hammer movie. It's like very, you're like, are they actually serious? And then you're like, oh, no, they're not. Like the dude who cut his arm off and shit like that, and then got reapplied. That's just funny. What about that video game that those guys were playing? It was like a super realistic like VR headset game where they're like shooting people like Doom. It was like Doom VR.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was, but that was crazy.
I'd play.
Sure.
That's what the weapons felt like too. They were like some video games stuff, truthfully.
Yeah, this is all video game based looking like to me.
Some crucial years. This was PlayStation 2 years.
Oh yeah.
What a console.
Best console ever.
Seriously, probably was.
Yeah,
PlayStation 2 was just great. That changed everything. And that thing was resilient.
Yeah, it never broke down. Always worked. So many games for it.
We were still using corded controllers.
Mm-hmm.
These kids could never.
Oh, God, no.
These kids could never.
I do have a PlayStation 2 still, and I bought wireless controllers for it.
What was your favorite PlayStation 2 game of all time?
Oh, God, I don't know. Probably the Jack and Daxters.
Dude, those were fun.
Those were great ones. I go through and play them all the way through, like, once every couple of years.
Oh, those were fun. I might go Vice City, man. I just played a lot of Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Grand Theft Auto is another one. You got Mortal Kombat's in there. You got Crazy Taxi. That was always fun.
Yeah, obviously the sports games. Fight Night. I remember Fight Night a lot. I don't know why they don't bring that game back. That was a lot of fun.
Dude, I got a game, Def Jam Fight for NY, when it's all the rappers in there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a great fighting game.
Mutual friend of ours, Stoney the Great. I like a lot of his content on TikTok, but he talks a lot of video games too. He talks horror, but he talks video games, and he gave a lot of love for that game. He's like, if you didn't play this, you just weren't a real one.
It's
like,
awesome. The game's worth $150.
Dude, the good old days, man. And that's when this came out. Like, I just remember, well, first off, being weird and not being weird. Like, you could not pull out a small computer out of your fucking pocket and look up titties. You couldn't search up MILF sucking dick. Like, you couldn't do that in 2002. You could on the family computer and wreck it and get caught and risk public embarrassment going to church or some shit. They send you to a camp, for beating off,
You had to wait like 30 minutes for it to download.
I mean, we were beating off to our thoughts back then. Like, what was this? Like they don't understand, right? So when things like these movies came out, I'm not saying that was always the intention. These were cool movies, but I'm saying there's only so much a 13-year-old boy can handle. So you had certain movies that you knew of, and your VHS might get wore out or the DVD. We were opportunists, and that's what I saw. It was like even reading worked that same way as a young person. I don't know if we've talked about that before, but like if you see an 8-year-old reading, you're like, wow, kid's reading. Good for him. He could be like reading a novel, and it's like it could be a spicy romance novel about plowing chicks down. But you're like, oh, he's reading. No one gives a fuck what he's reading.
No.
Like you don't know what he's reading.
No.
You're like, oh, he's reading. Good for him.
That's
It's
true.
like, he's reading The Exorcist. You're like, he's reading. You're like, I thought that was a trick when I was younger, like on certain things. I was like, oh, wow, they didn't know. And it was just harder for parents to vet movies back then. Now, let's just say, Ozark Mark, you're in charge of a bunch of 8-year-olds, and they bring up an old movie, like, we want to watch this scary movie, and you've never heard of it. You're like, the first thing you're going to do is look that movies up. Like, the Ozark Mark parental guidance. You're like, I don't know, hold on.
Yeah.
I think you guys are good. I think we're good. Because, not that they can't handle certain, it's just awkward, and you just want to work your way in correctly. It's like, almost like if a group of 7-year-olds watch it by themselves, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. That's how we did it. 10 years old and you found a crazy movie. Like, yeah, you don't want to watch that with your mom, bro. Like, you want to watch Jason X with your mom at 12?
No.
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 Get out of here, Mom. This isn't for you.
I know. Go away.
Get out of here, dude.
Go away.
I said, don't come in my room when I'm watching Jason X.
Yeah.
I can't. That's how life was back then, and I appreciated that, especially the Friday the 13th series. It taught us a lot: how to be young men, how to protect your lady, how not to be a douchebag and get your head cut off in situations. You can't be that that guy.
You ever watch a movie, an old movie, and they say something about like the future, but the future's now, and they're not right? So when they were first discovered Jason in this movie, he has got the hockey mask on. He goes, does anybody know what that is? Like, it's a hockey mask. That's right. And the robot comes, that's right, it's an old face thing, outlawed in 2024. We're in 2024 right now.
Yeah.
Hockey's supposed to be outlawed.
Yeah. I didn't know if she meant
shit.
the mask or the sport, but that would be... Poor Canadians, man. They almost got another Stanley Cup again. It's been like 20-something years since a cup's been in Canada. And not only that, like
America. Fuck yeah.
The southernmost state of fucking America has won.
That's right, bitch.
Florida. You guys lost a bunch of Florida men? Like that's
None of those guys are from Florida.
I know that. But it's just like the principle of it, of like there's no one plays hockey down there as a kid. Like street hockey, maybe. Like you go up north, certain places, there's hockey everywhere. Like you don't think about it in Wisconsin or Montana. They just play it a lot up there. But Florida wins? What are you guys doing, Canada? You guys were in the cup. It was Edmonton versus Florida, and you guys blew it. You guys came back and you blew it. I hope you Canadians are, writing letters to Edmonton. Like, what the fuck? You guys done did it again. I'm sorry, boys. We couldn't do it.
Sorry.
There's alligators. I don't want no part of alligators. Those are real-life dinosaurs. And I don't want a part of Uber Jason in space. Now, can I ask you, Mark, what is your favorite part of this movie?
Probably when Jason is first coming back to life, and when people start fucking, he starts twitching. And the more intense they start fucking, the more he comes alive and synced up. I just thought it's hilarious. Like, oh, people are fucking. Jason's coming back.
That was a weird little couple, too. They started, getting all freaky next to him. And she was like, I bet you he's hung like what'd she say? A mastodon. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know. But I thought it was funny. Just people start fucking and Jason comes back to life. He's like, nope, not on this ship, bitch. Mm-hmm. And he starts wrecking it. I thought that was funny.
I thought it was going to turn into Jason XXX.
No, we don't need that.
Well, I thought so.
We don't need that. What was yours?
I do. Obviously, the nitrous kill. It was a lot of fun. The head smash into a bunch of pieces.
Oh, yeah.
That's a kill that just, out of all horror movies, that's up there. Like, if people were saying, top 50 legendary kills, I feel like that would get up there. I really do. I really do. That's just a hallmark right there, dude. That's a poster worthy. Mm-hmm. That's just one people have forever talked about.
I can imagine, the director saying, I love when he's dragging her towards it. Mm-hmm. And he's, slightly showing her titties, for a second. I just imagine her, all right, well, when you grab her, just lift her shirt up a little bit.
Without telling her, though,
yeah.
Show no little titty.
Little titties in there.
Little titty. She said it's cool. But I would truthfully say is when the nerdy dude was trying to, trick Jason and, recreate this, like a virtual reality around him and trick him. And he put him back in Crystal Lake, and there were two girls hey, you want to have premarital sex and smoke pot, or whatever.
We love premarital sex.
Yeah, and they're just naked, and then it goes back, and he's just beating them against the tree with the sleeping bag. That's a legendary kill too.
That's hilarious.
That's probably my favorite kill out of it. It just makes me laugh every time. If I'm having a bad day, just show me that scene, and I will laugh. I think everybody's want to put somebody in a sleeping bag and hit them against the tree.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's a natural thought.
Who doesn't?
That's a natural
thought. I did
thought.
on the way here, for Christ's sake.
I thought that was one thing. It's really hard to classify that 2009 one because sometimes people say it's a remake, sometimes it's hard to say, but if you really think about it, it's not really a remake because they give you a recap of the franchise at the beginning, and there's no like Pamela Voorhees in it, etc. So I think it's just another installment, and they did a really good job, but that opening scene of that 2009 Friday the 13th where he puts her in the sleeping bag above the fire as like bait, and then her boyfriend runs into the bear trap. That was just a beautiful scene. I don't know what's up with sleeping bag kills, but he kind of owns them. Until somebody else takes the cake, Jason owns sleeping bag kills. If you say that, you only think of one character.
Well, hopefully we get to cover that one day, which I'm sure we will.
Oh, yeah.
But until then, let's forget about that one and go back to this one and learn more things about Jason X. Boom, here, welcome to the What Do You Know Is segment here where we to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, if this is your first time here, we're gonna go. We're gonna tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're gonna have a we know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you better find out what we know, and you're gonna have a we know-gasm too. Everybody's gonna have fun with more knowledge in the brain. What do you think about that?
I like that idea.
I like that too. So why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie?
I might do that. I might tell you some stuff about this movie.
No, there's no might. You will. You can, and you will.
This movie was a first and a last. A last and a first. A beginning and an end. You may be wondering what the fuck I'm talking about
definitely, I don't have no idea what you're saying to me right now.
Because we're getting poetic. We all know, there's been a lot of different Jasons around. And, I like a lot of different Jasons, but probably the most popular actor has been Kane Hodder, right? That's who people, that's who they think of. Well, Kane Hodder, this is his last role, okay? Because you have to think, he did part 7 with Tina, the telekinesis. He did part 8 in Manhattan, and this is his last role. Because in the next movie, Ken Kersinger takes over, and, the Freddy versus Jason. So, it's the last time for Kane Hodder. But, it's the first time a Jason movie ever used help from any digital effects for gore and for kills. Up until this point, it was 100% practical. And I will tell you, the fact that there's a nice blend of both in here, this is one of those movies that I think is blended well. There's some practical effects in here, a lot of them. Quite a majority of them are practical effects to the point where I don't really, my brain isn't thinking of super corny kills with CGI. So I thought it was a really good job, but it was the first one in the franchise to do that. So it's a beginning and an end.
I like that.
Do you know something about this movie, Jason X?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do, Christian Ramey. Yes, I do. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but you may not have, because you don't notice when people do this regularly. Jason Voorhees, through this entire movie, he doesn't blink.
That's hard to do.
He doesn't blink, not once. I really hope they gave him some eye drops or something, because that's a long time to not blink. He's on screen for a while at some points. He doesn't blink.
That's intense.
He does not blink. Not once. Not never. The man don't blink.
That's incredible.
I know.
That would hurt your eyeballs.
It would hurt my eyeballs just thinking about it.
I know. That takes some extreme concentration there. But yeah, if I didn't
He must have been really good at staring contests when he was a kid.
I know. I didn't really think about that. But yeah, you don't really think of any scenes where his eyeballs are moving. That's a pretty, that's dedication to the role.
Absolutely.
Dedication to the role. Now, even though Kane Hodder didn't get the Freddy vs. Jason, he should be happy because he did a good job here in Jason X, and he's the only one to do Uber Jason.
Yeah, I mean, he's scary, and he's scary as Jason.
Yeah.
Him as Jason is the scariest. 100%.
He's like offensive versus like defensive. Some Jason, they're like defensive almost. They're kind of like more childlike. Not the Kane Hodder Jason. He's like a great white shark.
Yeah,
Come to
he's,
eat
he's,
you.
he's a guy you run away from, absolutely. Absolutely.
These are some pretty good facts about this movie.
I thought it was good. You know anything else?
No, I don't think so.
That's pretty good. I think we're going to go now.
All right. Mark, if you had to pick anybody, I'm saying celebrity, to watch Jason X with, who would it be? And it could be somebody random.
Christopher Walken.
Why are they in space?
What are they doing in space?
Her head, it's gone. Wow. Boom. Yeah. That would be fun.
I mean, I would do anything with him. He'd just be hilarious. But
he would.
who would you pick?
I want to smoke a joint with George Bush and then watch it.
George Bush.
Hey, man.
What's this funny fella doing? Oh, I can't do George Bush. I don't know a good impression. But
Just got a rat.
you get the idea.
Yeah. You know, that would be fun. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of answers. You could watch it with John Cena.
That would be fun.
He announced his retirement, dog.
I know he did.
That's big.
Good for him. Good for him. I love the ridiculousness of this movie, though. Because, at the end of every slasher, you think you kill Jason and he comes back. And then you think you kill him again. And then he comes back. But there's a scene, man. It's my favorite. One of my favorites is when they blow up the ship. Like one dude sacrifices himself and blows up the ship. Blows up Jason. You think that's it. There's no way Jason can survive an explosion in space.
No.
No, you look out the window and they just look like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And he's just like, well, coming towards you again. I did like how they put him at a lake in the end. Seemed right.
It did.
They got a nice hot girl at the end there on a date with a big old booty. It landed in the lake. It's a funny ending.
Dude.
I'm surprised they didn't do any more futuristic Jasons after that. They left it in the end for there to be more.
I like how that they had the black character in there who I felt was just like a Tony Todd ripoff, or like a Ken Fourier Tony Todd, like he's a Kmart Tony Todd, in my opinion. I know that guy's been in a couple things. I think he's like in Spartacus or 300.
A Kmart Tony Todd.
Yeah, that's what I thought, man. Kmart Candyman, dude. Like he was just not.
Yeah.
He had that, like, I felt like that's what they were going for and they couldn't get him. Because if you think in like Final Destination, they got Tony Todd. Or like, you need that guy. Like even in the first Child's Play, like the first voodoo guy, where Chucky like went to his apartment. And he's like, you need to be stopped, Chucky. Like where they don't even like, there's no higher vocal tones than here. It's all down here.
Right.
When we talk like this. Like, Jesus, dude. And that's really how Tony Todd talks. That's one human being that, like, I mean, didn't really have any makeup on for Candyman. I mean, he had some in some scenes, but he's just in a coat with bees and a hook. So, like, when you see him, and like, because he's tall as shit, you're like, dude, this dude's got, like, a presence. I'm not, like, afraid of many people, but, hello. Like, you hear his voice, you're like, fuck, dude. That guy is unsettling. Like, if that was your neighbor, and he's just getting his mail. Hey, Mark.
No, I'd move. Fuck that.
Hey.
No.
Tony. You're scaring the kids. Kids are always around. So fuck off. You know? But I felt like that's what they were going for with that guy. The badass dude. But like I said, they kind of BK kidded. The BK kids, they had one of everybody. They had the robot girl. They had the stacked blonde girl. They had the nerdy dude.
Stoner guy.
Mm-hmm. It worked. The muscle guy. You need it all.
Asshole engineer guy who likes his nipple twisted. Yeah, they had everybody.
He did.
Yeah, that was weird.
He did. I don't.
And why is he in a dress too?
Dude, pinch my nipples, bro.
Like, dress? The fuck are you doing?
That's one thing. Like I can even we can get crazy, right? We can get
well,
crazy.
I mean, it made
nipples,
sense for his character because a lot of times people in power and tell people to do all the time. They like being dominated when they get freaky.
That makes sense,
So
though.
that made sense for his character.
I'm not
like,
kink shaming the guy. I'm just saying,
No.
me personally, if you latch onto my nipple too hard, have you ever had your nipple bit too hard? That's like a fucking.
Yeah,
like,
you just an instant reaction to punch. Like you just punch, like because you're used to your friends like twisting your nipple and shit, and your instant reaction is to punch.
Yeah, it is.
So don't twist my nipple because you might catch a fucking hook accidentally.
Sometimes you got to tell a lady, like, if you tickle me, all of that man-woman shit, that's off. I'm going to freak the fuck out if you start tickling. I'm going to get out of here, dude. I'm going to get out of here. You're getting slammed.
Nah, you're going to get wrestling moves if you do that shit.
Yeah, like, you're getting handled.
Chris Benoit crossface, you're getting fucked up.
And they think that shit's funny, bro. They'll sneak in while you're just there and they'll get you. And you're just like, you don't understand. Have you ever been put in a Lex Luger torture rack? Because you're about to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tickle me. You know, you get that, like, you get real serious. Like,
Don't tickle me.
Don't do it.
So serious.
Yeah,
Don't.
you know, when you're in one of those moods, don't fucking touch me. But yeah, that's what they do. I'm not gonna lay here and watch a movie with you. I'm gonna fucking bite your nipple or try to tickle you. You're like, you little fucker. This isn't happening. But, you know, they gotta learn how we all learn. As my grandma would say, that'll learn you. You're like, thanks. That's great advice.
Oh, grandma.
Oh, grandma. Now, if you were stuck in space, what would be your solution to kill Jason in this kind of thing? Because I feel like we just got to get him in one of them vacuum sealed rooms, kind of like Air Force One, and open up the hatch and let him out, let him fall out.
Basically, or just fucking get off the ship and let him drift into space forever.
What would he do if there's no people on there? Would he eventually, like, be comfortable? Would he be, like, sleeping in beds? Just, like,
I don't know.
making food?
I guess. Never seen Jason eat anything.
I know. He's got a shit.
There needs to be like a daily life of Jason episode.
If you were to have
Like, what
lived
does
on
he-
the ship, yeah.
Yeah, like what does he do when he's not killing people? What does he do?
Eating squirrels. He, like, hangs out with somebody like your dad. He's just like, yeah, I'll talk to him. He's in the woods. Like, what the fuck, Dad? He's a killer. Well, he's always been nice to me. I see him out there, and I'll give him the squirrels I
Well,
find.
he's always nice to me because I ain't fucking on his property. I'm making a bunch of loud noise on his property.
I always leave a couple extra squirrels for him, you know. Okay. It's just people like locals just like aiding and abetting, just like the local killer. Like, I'll leave some. I left him out of, Hot Pocket. And, you're feeding him, Grandma?
It's a good way not to get killed by him.
That's true. Just a pizza. Like, we're good? You just leave it in your
Guys, it's
backyard?
cool. He just wanted his machete back.
Yeah. I'm going to leave this pizza for you. I'm going to go back inside. I just want to enjoy my night, and I want to fuck my lady because this is my house, and I don't want to die. So you can eat this pizza? He pulls off the mask and just... It'd be funny to see him eat because he might be polite. He might tuck his like a shirt in.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel like they
napkin in.
should have done a cooler fight scene between him and the robot girl.
I do too. It's a bit cheesy, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's funny as shit. Like, and the robot girl could have been stronger, dude. She could have been fembot. She could have thrown down like Austin Powers. Robot titties, like the machine gun.
They
boobs.
should have gave her some machine gun boobs. I think that would have been top notch.
Yeah, dude.
Why did you not?
What are we thinking here?
It was a perfect setup because you already did a scene where she tries to get nipples. How perfect would it be if she finally got nipples that shoot machine guns?
Yeah, dude.
That would have been perfect. But we didn't get that. But that's okay.
You
That's
think
all right.
Jason would kill lifeguards?
Yeah. I think he would kill anybody.
But what if you're like a good lifeguard? Like,
I'd
what if he first
no.
saw you saving a kid
Doesn't matter.
in the lake?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
the whole principle of the family. They're mad that people weren't watching. If you're just like, nah, bro, I'm the most badass lifeguard in the world. Ain't nobody going down around me. I don't feel like he'd get you. Or what if it was somebody really close with their mom? You just had to go with your mom everywhere you went. I love her. You know, just hug her all the time. And he might not mess with you. I don't know. I'm just thinking of strategies here. I feel like Michael Myers, you're just like, I'm not watching these kids. I'm not the babysitter here.
Yep.
I got, that's
Good
all
way to avoid him. Yep. You're right. You're very right there. I like your strategy.
Freddie, I think Freddie, since you can't run from him, you would just have to work deals with him. Like, look, my guy, I feel like I'm a more valuable as a resource. I'll bring you people, all kinds of people. We can drag them into these dreams. You can murder them in front of me. I'll bring you people I don't like, all right? And one by one, all right, I'll bring you all kinds of people. But you got to leave me alone. He might, I don't know. He might get you. But if he's stuck with my soul forever, I don't feel like he'd want it.
No.
I'd be talking in there.
Oh. Anyway, all right. Let's rate this son of a bitch. What do you say?
Okay.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah! Into the portal we go. We're floating out here in space, and we just went through another portal to another dimension, to another world here, to the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. This is a one and only podcast rating system developed by your scary Mary movie companion, Mr. Christian Ramey. This is a horror movie scale, not a movie in general. Let's keep that in mind. This is based on a horror film. Horror film.
Scary.
It's a scary movie, and we're going to rate it on the scary movie scale. Now, how are we going to do this? It's a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1.48 total of
10 points altogether.
Oh, my God. Yes, it is. So let's get to the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Casting
Cast
is
me up, baby. Cast
not a
me
very
up.
strong category. I'm giving Alone to David Cronenberg a half a point. I'm going to give this movie a 1. Okay, it's not half a point worthy. It's not great with casting. It's B-rate actors who you have never really seen. But these people are seasoned actors. They're just like shitty TV show actors. They were like UPN actors. Like, these people are the people that be on the TV shows like Xena Warrior Prince. You're just like random, like, you know what I'm saying? Like those kind of actors. But they were not bad. It just screamed CW production kind of deal. So I'm going to give it a 1 on casting.
Okay. 1 it is. That's 1 out of 10 so far here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
It's just gonna have to be a 3 out of numbers. We gotta, and we do have one kill that is over the top.
Mm-hmm.
We have one that is larger than the movie itself. It's one of the franchise kills. It's like one of the exclamation points within the franchise. And if we are including the Space Center, that's a lot of people. However many people he fucking blew up there. Then not to mention it's like a teen number, I'm sure, 15, 16, 17 people killed just alone in the movie. Then you have a signature death. I mean, they're all done uniquely, creatively. A lot of thought went into the kills, and that's really what we're looking for. You need a variety. They need to be impactful, but there also needs to just kind of be that one that just will not leave your brain. You watch this movie once, will not leave your brain. So I feel like 3 is the only fair answer.
Excellent. 4 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 3-point category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
I feel like this has to be a half a point. Even out of the Friday the 13th franchise. Like this, it has to be low. For some reason, out of the big 3, if you will, I feel like Michael Myers is weirdly the one that still resonates. As far as, like, if you put a mask on, I'm not saying you can't scare anybody in a Jason mask, but it's a Jason mask. Whereas, like, a Michael Myers mask still has that, like, ooh, people, I don't get it. But this movie is fun, and I just don't really foresee many people getting afraid of this. Even, like, a younger generation be like, oh, it's Jason. Like,
Yeah, this is just a goofy-ass movie all over the map.
mm-hmm.
The presence, the thing, all that. Plus, you got Jason, who's an icon at this point. He's not scary, so makes sense. So that's 4.5 so far here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get to the final 1-point category for half a point each here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability. A T.
I'm going to say yeah. I rewatched it a lot. This is one of those great movies that would work with like, hey, we're taking mushrooms tonight, and we're going to watch whatever. Hey, we're doing a drinking game tonight. or hey, it's like a silly movie night, or this is one of those ones. Like, it's perfect for those kind of events. Not a very serious movie. Maybe not even heavily recommended, but if somebody hasn't seen it, I would recommend it just for the kills alone. So for me, I'm going to say yeah.
Perfect. I think it's rewatchable too. It's just fun. It's funny. It's a goofy ass movie, but it's funny, and it's not that far fetched. It doesn't fit out of the series to me for some reason. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also goofy, B movie. It's just perfectly described by you for how to rewatch it. So that is a total of 5.5 out of 10 for Jason X here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast. Right back up in your ass.
Yeah. 5 out of 10, 5.5?
5.5.
That's actually pretty decent. But the kills really make up for it, man. For it being not such a great movie, a lot of fucking people have seen it. A lot of people have talked about it. A lot of people continue to talk about it. So that's one of those things with horror. Like, even a movie like Sleepaway Camp. No, if you compare Sleepaway Camp to The Godfather, no, we're not talking about the same kind of movies here. But Sleepaway Camp, all I have to do is be like, if somebody said, like, dude, I went on a date with what I thought was a girl and came home and she sleepaway camped me, dude. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I still sealed the deal and finished the job, but afterwards I said, that's not fun to trick people. You'd know exactly what they're talking about. You'd be like, I've seen that movie. I know what's going on. That doesn't leave your brain. Like, that's a fun thing about these movies. And I don't also want to get super corny, but movies are modern pictures. They're modern art. And they do. If you have something that is not real, that somebody creates, and it makes you feel a way, it could bring you to tears, bring you to laughter, make you afraid, or be like, oh, fuck. That's art. That's art. So, not all art is the same. Some's goofy, some's more in depth, but there's like a weird kind of art with horror where it lives with you forever. Like, you just don't forget those paintings, if you will. You're just like, yeah, I'll never forget that kill on Jason X. If I said the big boiling pot scene in Sleepaway Camp, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what the hell you're talking about. That's pretty legendary. The opening scene of Ghost Ship. Ghost Ship isn't a fucking award-winning movie by any stretch of the means. It's an okay subpar movie, but damn it, it's fun, and I love it. And that opening scene never leaves your noggin. Like, you ever pulled behind a log truck? Movies change the way you think. They rewire your brain. And I don't know. Horror movies, I trust somebody that's seen a lot of horror movies. I don't know. You could be pretty dumb, but I feel like you're one of the people that's like, you know what? We ain't going in there. Hey, log truck? Nah, we'll switch lanes. We're not doing all this. Like, you just don't trust certain things. You're like, what is that, an amulet? Nah, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Some people are like, what is this? Nope.
That's this creepy looking Rubik's Cube. I don't know. Don't touch it.
Don't touch that. No, that's how they get you.
Don't touch it. Don't fucking touch it.
Hey, what we all need to do is get the hell out of here. I feel like I'm not trained in many things, and I feel like I will let us all down.
You guys want to go off the hiking trail? No.
Let's all split up. Yeah, see, here's the thing.
This ain't Scooby-Doo, bitch. All right?
Didn't work for them. It's not going to work for us.
No.
Now, you guys have made it pretty balls deep into this episode.
Balls deep.
We're almost going to complete
your nuts
while
are
looking
dripping wet
in each other's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
But, you guys, I need you to know that if you're watching this show on YouTube and you aren't subscribed, you are doing a disservice to all of us. So make sure that you are subscribed here. Even if you're not watching on YouTube, please take 2 seconds out of your day to go to YouTube, type in Sloppy Horror Podcast. It's completely for free, helps us out big time, helps us circulate these videos out. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish I could just do it word of mouth. But it helps us big time. You open up your phone, you go into Spotify, Apple Podcasts, lay out those 5-star ratings. That helps Sloppy Horror Podcast get to other horror nerds' phones, and they can hear it, and it's completely for free, helps us big time. You want to make a further step? You want to go a bit further? Well, that Patreon is on and rocking. We got all kinds of cool stuff. I took Larry from TikTok, put him on there, fucking asked him some questions. It's like, I'm going to just interview random nerdy people. I'm going to have fun episodes. Whatever the fuck we want to do on there, it could be a whole wide variety of topics. And that's what it's all about. So we're trying to find ways to entertain you while also keeping the lights on here. We also have some merchandise up. You guys check that out. New season. So that means there's going to be a new t-shirt. I want you guys to be some of the first to get one of the limited edition, obviously, Sloppy Horror Podcast Road Trip Season t-shirts.
Oh, that sounds sexy.
It does, dude. They're pretty cool. I'm going to show you the designs, everything for it, but this will be up by the time the episode's up. I want you guys hop on these. Just like last season's t-shirts, we're not going to have a lot of these up. There's only going to be a limited edition, so... if we see you guys out and about with the random season t-shirt, we know you guys are the real deal Holyfields.
It'll tickle your taint. Just like you like it.
So, all these things help us out greatly. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Feels good to be back here. We've got this season here, the road trip season. And then once this is over, we're going right into the road to Halloween.
Oh my God, no way.
It's a 10...
You're being dead serious right now.
Yep, 10 movies.
Man. Oh my God, I love this Sloppy Road to Halloween season. That's the best time of year, damn it.
10 episodes. It's going to lead us right in there.
Oh, wait, there's a season before that. Okay.
No, right now.
No, I know that. Wait, hold on. So after this season is over, it's the Sloppy Road to Halloween?
Yep, 10
no
episodes.
No fucking way.
Yep.
It's already here?
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, 10 episodes is a long season. That's
it is.
That's, 2.5 months, but it's like...
Matter. It's almost there.
Yeah.
That goes by quick.
Yeah, it leads us right there.
So all right, we're coming out of space here. Where is our GPS heading to now? Give us a hint, because we gotta drive there. Well, first we gotta land somewhere, and then we gotta drive there. So where are we going?
Well,
Where are we going?
we got to go to the train station.
Train station.
Yeah, we are getting dropped off on a train station in Asia. And once we get on the train, I don't even know if we're going to want to be on this train to where it's going. But if you get off the train, it's not necessarily great either. So a train to somewhere in Asia. And I feel like that's a great hint for everybody. This movie next week is one of the scariest movies I have ever seen in my adult life.
Really?
Yes. I get you. It just gets you. Obviously, like, not, piss my pants, but I am not fucking with you. I've discussed this movie previously on the show. I watched this when my family was all gone. It took me a year or two to catch on. A fairly recent movie. Came out within the last 10 years. And when... You know how it is when people are like, watch this new movie. You're like, all right. I don't know if our tastes align. I'll get to it, whatever. My family was gone. I turned the fucking lights on, dude. I'm smoking. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was one of those movies, I was good, but it got me as an adult. And so many people say, like, well, horror movies don't scare me anymore, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you're an adult. You don't have the same range of fears. But when you find one that can touch that spot where you're like, what the hell? This is one of them.
All right, well, fuck yeah, I'm excited for that.
It's a good one.
Good. Excellent. Bravo. I am excited. And you should be excited. Everybody get excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it, guys. I think until the next week, like I said, make sure you check out the Patreon. Make sure you guys write into the show. Let us know. And do your part.
Fuck yeah.
Welcome to the road trip.
Oh, shit, yeah. All right, we gotta go now. Goodbye.
See ya.